everybody? It's your favorite father and son's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Mandalorian and Child Deluxe set from Hot Toys. This just came in, so I'm trying to get it up as soon as possible. We'll see how I did in regards to time. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to talk about some of the cool options that are available with this set, what this set does kind of for your Hot Toys display if you have numerous Mandalorian Hot Toys, and the advantages of that as well. But in order to do any of that, we got to start with accessories. So he comes with the display base per usual. You get this, which is the sandy kind of floor. Bit kind of cliche, and the colors are a bit sandy. It's nitpicky for sure, but like to me, Navarro is more gray almost. I wish there was a little bit more gray tones in this, just because we have so many Tatooine bases and everything else. It'd just be nice to have something different, right? But there it is, has the footprints in it so that you can put him in there. It also has this side piece, so to speak, that you can put in, and this is all done the same way, and the rocks that are added on, which is nice. Now you can have this in just as kind of a display here on the side, and obviously you could probably just put it wherever you felt like it looked best. I think it's probably intended to go there, fits the best. You can take this rock out, use this rod, this clear translucent rod, and insert that. We'll come back to that in a bit. And then you have this, which we've seen 1,000 times, so we won't go over it in too much detail, but you take the cap off, you loosen this screw here, you insert this on, you put the cap back on, and then you have a spring-loaded trigger kind of here to grip the Mandalorian. This is allowed to allow you for vertical height because he does come with the jetpack. It's my least favorite way of doing business when it comes to Hot Toys, but I understand why they do it. So he comes with an array of hands. They're all detailed the same way. We get left and right trigger hands, left and right fist hands, and then a right holding hand. And that's in addition to the two relaxed slash holding slash supporting hands that you saw in the opening footage. They're all detailed the same way. We'll get to it when we get to the figure. While we're on the topic of hands, he does come with two replacement ball hinges. They will hinge up and down and swivel both at the forearm and at the wrist, so you can get up, down, and out, so to speak. And then it also comes with some kind of buttons and chrome buttons, buckles, and leather surfaces replacements. So all of that is included as well. He comes with this pistol, which is really well sculpted per usual and has some very subtle dry brushing on the gunmetal, as well as some great sculpt work. Then it has the darker black paint, the silver paint added to it, and the brown paint added to the grip. So really quite nicely done. Even a little layer of gold, maybe copper there. I can't exactly tell from this angle, but it looks really good. And he'll hold that just fine. And it can be carried in his holster. You just have to undo this one leather strap and then get it back in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with these fingers of mine, but it will sit in there nicely. It's just getting the leather strap back in. He comes with this holiday special weapon, which is really beautifully done. Once again, you have the gunmetals. Once again, they're dry brushed beautifully. Once again, you have the gold accents. You have some black painted on. This piece right here is crooked. I'm not sure if that's how it is in the show or not, but it seems off to me. Like, it doesn't seem like it should go down at that angle. Like, it seems like it should sit a bit up, but I can't get these other... Oh, maybe I can. Maybe I can. Maybe I can. I just got to be careful. I certainly don't want to break it. The brown accents are added. The little wood grain wash is applied to it, which looks really nice. And then you have the kind of burned patine, something like that, added to the blaster parts up here. So really nicely sculpted and decoed weapon. And he will hold that just fine. Now, to get his weapon attached to him, it's a multi-step process. So one is to bring this piece that's connected to the rifle up and over and peg it into the belt here and into the chest, maybe. On the back, you have this piece that needs to find its way through the hole in the cape. This is magnetized, which is a nice touch because otherwise that would have been a nightmare. Bring the rifle up and around, and then wrap the magnets over top to secure it. And now you've got it kind of mounted to him, so to speak. So pretty smart stuff. Another feature of the rifle is you can kind of remove one of these bullets here. Take the rifle, you can lift up this whole entire section, and then you can actually have him posing with like loading in one of the rounds. So a pretty cool little feature. And you know what? It can come out because I forgot this is also his like Binocular? Not binocular. Monocular? I don't know. It's that, right? The thing that he uses to, like, see. So, you can kind of put this and angle it in between, you know, almost like a cigarette. He comes with his knife, a very intricate sculpt. We have all the layers of stuff going on there, along with the blade. It's all weathered, painted, washed, etc. Beautiful. And he'll hold that in the tight holding hand with no problem. And that can be stored in the boot simply by shoving it down the side of the leg, which I don't like. I feel weird about the blade breaking, and I feel weird about the paint rub. He comes with the whistling bird effect, which is kind of interestingly done. You have the kind of metallic piece down here that's decoed the same way as the rest of the sculpt. Then you have this like translucent-esque smoke effect that it's like more kind of puffy and then streamy towards where it actually gets to the whistling birds themselves. And then the tips of them are all painted silver. So pretty nicely done. To utilize it, just take off the whistling bird piece from his gauntlet and then take your other piece and just insert it on in the same place and you're good to go. While you have this piece off, you'll notice on the underside that it's split into two pieces, and you can remove that and replace it with this one, which is like the whistling bird being armed with the missile tips on it, which is another little nice touch. You get this flame effect, which is beautifully done. It goes from a completely clear translucent to a slight shade of blue to this kind of orangish red fireball that's pretty intense all the way through to the end. Beautifully sculpted, beautifully painted, and has like I'm not sure, it's like a little bit of a glossier type plastic. I'm not sure if that was the right choice here or not, but it looks good. With the hand off, you can take this piece, and right there, this little nub there is what causes the flamethrower effect. Slide this into position, place the hand back on, and you're golden, pony boy. He comes with his grappling hook. It's a skinny little piece of plastic, so be mindful. And then at the end, we have the blue and silver painted onto the grappling hook itself. I was hoping that it was like posable and bendable, but it doesn't feel like it wants to as I go to push, and I don't want to break it, so I don't know. That just goes up his sleeve in his wrist, and then you reattach the hand. He comes with an extra grenade, or a little explosive thing. It's painted silver, and then has a wash at the bottom bit, and has the red chrome on top. He will kind of hold it, but it doesn't look good or natural. But it can stow on his belt with the other two that are in place. He comes with a jetpack. It is nicely detailed and sculpted, beautifully sculpted, in fact. And then it has some like weathering paint along the edges that it's like kind of seeing some rough days, but not too rough, which I like. And a couple little like scorch marks along the bottom here, and then this padded back surface. And that just attaches magnetically. While we're on the topic of his jetpack, it comes with two kind of thruster effects. They go from a light yellow to a dark orange sort of translucent plastic. It's two separate pieces that are put together and nicely sculpted. And they will peg in to the back of the jetpack. He comes with an alternate shoulder pad with the rhino horn on there, which looks good, sculpted well, painted beautifully. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to the figure. And that attaches with Velcro just by peeling the other one off and then sticking the new one on. You get this alternate side piece to his helmet. I don't know why I stumbled over my words there. But it's painted beautifully. It has the different metal textures, a wash, and then it has this bit with the white dot added to the end of it. So it looks good. To utilize that, you just take this piece off, and then you can add this piece on, and you're good to go. He comes with the bounty finder. It has the two bits up here. They're painted like a copper, and then the silver. Actually, we'll say it's silver and gold. Two shades of silver down here, and then the red kind of chrome on the button. Good enough. The instructions show him holding it in the kind of supporting hand. It will work. It's not great, but it will work. It'll hold. It's not optimal. He'll hold that in the kind of tight holding hand, but it is a tight fit. You also get the little hologram piece, and this looks like the thing I was calling a grenade, but I don't think those were grenades. Anyway, you get this little hologram piece. It's got a little Mando coming up, and he's got the little blue translucent. I don't know, it's a little goofy, but it comes with it, and it's well enough, I suppose. You get the ice cream maker. I've gone ahead and opened it up so you can take a look at it, and I don't fumble with it on camera. But the inside is painted with this mustard color and then washed. And then we have the wash added to the metal textures as well. All of it looks beautiful. Then you can fold it up. It's actually on double hinges down here. So it opens kind of the proper way that it does in the show. And then once it's closed up, once again, the same sort of deco continues with beautiful washes, paint accents, dings and weathering and such. A handle up here, all the little buttons are sculpted in, etc. So yeah, really, really a smart, clever, and unique accessory. And he can hold that with the trigger finger hand and the relaxed posing hand that you saw in the opening footage. Now, what are you going to put in that thing? Beskar armor, obviously, and it comes in stacks and bundles. So you have some options there. They are magnetized, so that can go there. And then you have a single kind of chip as well that can sit there. And then all of it can go inside of your ice cream maker. And also, while we're on the topic, you have batteries that are for this also. You can take off these pieces here by pulling the top of that. That's access to your batteries. And then there's your on-off switch. And there's a little light at the top of that that'll light up the inside of that if that's a big deal for you. It's not for me. But I know some people like their electronics. So good news is there it is. And he'll hold the chip in his kind of trigger finger hand or in his support hand. You get the Easter egg, which is nice. It's heavy decoed, like nice speckling paint on top, some silver weathering added. Sometimes looks a little heavy-handed, but not terrible. Washes have been added, etc. And then you can remove this piece of it, and inside that's all decoed as well, and then some silver accents and such have been added. It also comes with this little blanket. That blanket can be stored in there as well. You know who that's for. We'll get to him in here in a bit. But yeah, pretty nice. It also has this hole in the bottom that will attach to the other end of your translucent rod. You get a Baby Yoda, which is technically an accessory because it's not a full-blown figure, which is awesome though. The head is on a ball peg. You get up to there, down to there, a swivel, and confused Baby Yoda look a little bit. You also get a fully sculpted and painted body. We have a base paint on here. We have a wash. We have a dry brush on the sleeves and collar. And then all of the head, like skin tone pieces are painted, washed, maybe perhaps even airbrushed in some places. Beautifully sculpted, beautifully done. And you even get the little down here at the bottom. They don't really do anything. There's no articulation outside of the head, but it is painted, sculpted, and decoed beautifully. I was saying in my first impressions, it looks better than the 1/1 scale Sideshow one. Like, it's really well done. You also get the Mandalorian Necklace, which looks good. It's sculpted well and accurately, painted silver and washed. And the good news about this, you can pop your head off your Baby Yoda, put his necklace on, and attach his head back down. And now you got him wearing his necklace, which is pretty sweet. Now you get this second, like, half a Baby Yoda, and you get the same sort of textures and details added. You get a totally different expression. I haven't looked to see if you could pop the heads off and swap the heads if you wanted to, but I don't anyway. Once again, the head sculpt is money, just perfection. And the details added to the ears and such just look great. The eyes look great. The eyelids look fantastic. Everything is locked in position. It doesn't pose with the exception of the head that's on a ball peg. You can get a swivel. You can get a little bit down, up, a little bit of confused Yoda look. But this is good. And at the bottom, it is magnetized so that it will attach to your Easter egg, which is nice. And then you can put the blanket in behind, and you're good to go. Now, if you want, you can sit the standing Baby Yoda in there and kind of put the blanket in front of him. It's your call, but you have the option. Not a whole lot to compare here looking at it side by side because it's just armor after all, but the helmet, the proportions look good. It actually looks like a head is underneath it, unlike the Figuarts where it looks like the helmet is the head. It looks like there's room for a human head underneath the armor, so that's nice. The colors are right, the sculpt is right. You know, there's no excuse why this shouldn't be perfect, and it pretty much is. And looking at it side by side with the full body image, I'm not sure, but the underclothes might be a little too gray on the Hot Toys. It's hard to tell, and it's something you would never notice. And even the image here, I don't think the thigh armor on the image is correct. Like, this might be an early prototype image I found. So let's go over the figure, and we'll start with plastics. And I'll put his shoulder armor back on here. So you have the helmet, right? We've already talked about it. That's beautiful. The shoulder we've talked about pretty much as well. The chest armor is great. It's in multiple pieces, so it actually looks like proper armor and looks like it would have the ability to move. This is a softer plastic here, almost like a rubbery material underneath, and it adds an interesting layer and texture. All of the plastic stuff that's done for like the bullets and the grenades and the tidbits, the bells, the whistles, etc. all look good. They're all sculpted well. They're all painted well, all washed. So it continues on. So it looks clean, but it also looks realistic, which is nice. And all of those sculpted details continue throughout. So you have the gauntlets, the shoulder pads, the chest armor, this soft piece of plastic underneath. Same for the shoulder gauntlet on this side. The hands are done beautifully with the base being this color. Then the fingers are painted on, and then the kind of Scarif Trooper stuff is painted on with the blue triangle on this side and blue triangle on that side. You have this here, which is a harder plastic, but this has the brown weathering on it as well. Same for this side. Then you have the same sort of deco here as you do with the shoulders. This has the red or burgundy with the shading done to that, and then the silver and black underneath. Looks brilliant. Same for all your bullets and stuff on the legs. The knife, I'm going to leave it in there. I'm scared to move it. And then the boots, like, I know it sounds petty, but this boot in particular is just painted beautifully with the really hard shading throughout, and the weathering on the boots down here, like, this looks lived in. You know, it looks well worn. Same over here. In fact, the only thing that's kind of troubling about it is it looks so worn that it doesn't match the belt and stuff. But yeah, I mean, even the back, beautiful. The belts get a little saggy, but other than that, really, really, really well done. Soft goods. So let's start with the cape. It is lovely, and it is my favorite Mandalorian cape by far so far. A nice felt, nice weight. It lays right. It has natural wrinkles and kind of folds in it. It looks fantastic. Then you have the upper body, which I think is done beautifully. You have this piece. This has an underpiece with like padding on it. The stitching all looks good. This piece is stitched over top and is more of like a rougher material. Then the brown piece is done underneath. So you have 3 different layers at least of soft goods. That's with the cape coming up and underneath the chest armor. Just layers and textures. It works beautifully. The pants might be a little baggy. And underneath there's padding on the thighs. But like as a result of the pants being baggy, the thigh armor seems to move around and not kind of look like it's like held in place, like with fitting pants. But that's about all I got. The stitching on it looks great. Just a single layer down here for the pants, but it looks fantastic. So that's all I got. And articulation. The head is on a double ball peg with a single from the neck into the chest, it feels like. As a result, you get the head pretty much all the way up, all the way down, swivel, confused Mando look to a ridiculous degree. There's no head sculpt, as it were, underneath, so it moves around beautifully. You have disc-hinge shoulders. Because of the tight soft goods, what feels like padding in some places underneath, the armor on top, it's very limited. Out to the side to there, forward to there. There is a butterfly where the ball peg pegs into the chest. That actually has a decent range. There's a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow that gets you a great range, and we've already talked about the wrist. For the abdomen, it feels like there's a double ball peg inside from the chest to the abdomen and a single from the abdomen to the pelvis, but hardly any of it works properly because of the layers of soft goods up over top, which is kind of a bummer. A little bit, not really anything forward or back, not really any teapot, so not great. Then we have what it feels like universals for hips, but I can't tell. That works surprisingly well. Out to the side to there, forward and back to there, so no issues. Thigh swivel, it's probably because of the baggy pants, right? Double jointed knee, and then it's a double ball peg in the foot. I have noticed that because of the sculpt down here and the bagginess of the pants, the boots seem to shift a bit. If the boot shifts down and you go to move the foot at a crazy degree, the foot will pop off. Just slide the boot back up, plug the boot back on. I'm a doof. And you should be fine. But yeah, I mean, it's good. Negatives wise, my issues are as follows. The pants look a little too baggy. It's not the worst thing in the world, but to be fair, nothing here is the worst thing in the world because it's a really well done figure. Pants are a bit baggy. And as a result, the armor does tend to shift around a bit and kind of get out of place. Now, one of the nice things is all of the armor that's on the pants is done in Velcro. So theoretically, if somebody does an armor upgrade for it and adds Velcro, you could just buy the Velcro and swap out your own pieces, like the thigh armor and the shoulder armor. While he does come with a ton of accessories, and they are all awesome, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I wish there were more hand options. Posing hands would have been nice, and the tighter holding hand for both left and right would have been a nice option as well. I do find myself relatively limited in what I can do with these hands, so to speak, and often wish I had the one more hand option. If I were to get nitpicky, I would also say the leather that's sculpted plastic on the figure is far more weathered and worn looking than the leather that's made of soft goods that's on the belt and straps of the figure. But I think we all have to agree that might be a bit too nitpicky, even for me. I would have liked more articulation in the waist and arms, but I think we sacrificed that for how good the soft goods look up there with the layers upon layers of them added, so maybe that's worth it. I think we have to admit that the accessories are just extreme, and you probably couldn't think of much else that you want, maybe with the exception of that one hand. They all integrate well, they're all fun, they're all part of the lore, they all make sense, and I think the idea of including those two Yodas is really, really, really a kind thing to do. It's the opposite of the SH Figuarts not giving you the extra hood for the Emperor. What do I mean by that? If you bought the other Mandalorian with like the non-shiny armor, he doesn't have a Baby Yoda. So now you have two, and you can do with them as you please, and both your Mandalorians can have a Baby Yoda. So I think that that's important. And yeah, I know his name is Grogu, and no, I don't care. Dumb name anyway. But the accessories are fantastic, especially that two Baby Yoda situation. The articulation in the legs works well. The articulation in the head and elbows work well. The soft goods in the upper body are fantastic. All of the plastic work is fantastic. The likeness is spot on. If you like this representation of the character, I do feel like this is the definitive version of it, and you won't need to replace it with anything else. It is a home run. It's probably the best thing I've looked at this year so far, overall. Really and truly something special. So, hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.